Good evening, Mount Vernon. Thank you so much for your patience. On behalf of the City of Mount Vernon, welcome to Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard's 2026 State of the City. Tonight, we gather not just as guests, but as a community, united in progress, purpose, and possibility. We proudly acknowledge the presence of all of our distinguished guests, dignitaries, elected officials, community leaders, and residents who make this city strong. Would you give yourselves a hand? To set the tone for this evening, please join me in welcoming a powerful voice of faith and leadership, Pastor Carlton Spruill of the Allen Memorial Church of God in Christ, for the invocation. Please stand.
Let us pray. God our Father, by prayer and by petition and with thanksgiving, we actually come to you. Tonight we are grateful for the blessing of community and the assembly of the same. We are mindful tonight of your goodness. Tonight we invoke the blessing with prayer and with thanksgiving. We make our request known tonight that the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and our minds in Christ Jesus. This is our prayer, that your will be done in our great city. In these 4 square miles, every street, every avenue, every boulevard, every home, every family, every business, each elected official, every civic servant, our municipal partners, our legislators, please let us know the blessing of your favor. Tonight, with prayer and intercession, we decree the greater community in these 4 square miles, greater community in these 4 square miles. And although the strength of our diversity, please allow this diversity and the efforts of our synergy be manifested for us during these very obscure times in our nation. Allow the application of vision for Greater Mount Vernon be shared tonight with power and with clarity. God, we recognize you. You are God of all grace. You are light in darkness. You are God with endless mercy. We are a city that bears witness of your goodness and the power of your ableness. Allow this moment to be a junction to the greater promise for Mount Vernon, New York. Tonight, we thank you for progress. Tonight, we thank you for moving our city forward. We thank you for the restorations. We thank you for the improving quality of life in our city. So we pray for our beloved and our noble mayor, Shawyn Patterson-Howard, and the entire cabinet and civic workforce. We pray for her continued strength, health, and wisdom as she shares the state of our great city tonight. Grant our mayor all grace to forecast the yet unfolding vision and promise for the greater Mount Vernon, New York. Our minds and hearts are open tonight as we pray. Let inspiration and hope be partners tonight. Allow the advancing winds of progress to be our portion. Allow greater community to actually consume us. This is our prayer. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the power of God that works in us. It is so. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sproul, for grounding us as we begin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please honor our nation and those who protect it. Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the Mount Vernon Police Department Color Guard. Please remain standing as we affirm our shared commitment to this country by saying the Pledge of Allegiance led by Reverend Martello Payne, Korean-era Army veteran.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, as we continue in the spirit of unity, please remain standing for the national anthem performed by the incredibly talented Tiffany Thrower.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. In the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. And now, as we honor our history, our resilience, and our collective voice, please remain standing for Lift Every Voice and Sing, performed by Aubrey McCoy of the Denzel Washington School of the Arts.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberties. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we invite you to once again focus your attention to the front as the color guard retires the colors. Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening is about reflection, it's about progress, and it's about the future of Mount Vernon. To capture that journey, we invite you now to turn your attention to the screens for a special presentation.
Community built on strength, resilience, and unlimited possibility.
And over the last 6 years, those great possibilities have been brought to life under the amazing leadership of our mayor, Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard.
When she took office, Mount Vernon faced real challenges: aging infrastructure, fiscal instability, public safety concerns, and systems that no longer really served the public well. But this administration made a decision, not to stand still, but to move forward.
Under Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard's leadership, the work began, rebuilding our foundation from the ground up. The city faced weekly flooding and sewer backups. Now it's just a few incidents a month, improving the daily lives of our residents.
I grew up in Mount Vernon, and I know Mount Vernon continues to move forward under Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard.
Public safety has been strengthened through intentional leadership with the Mount Vernon Police Department, building deeper relationships in our neighborhoods and working with community partners like the youth shelter, reducing gun violence and violent crimes.
And Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital has gone from closing to expanding access to quality care for our community.
Through investments in our Youth Bureau, Recreation, and Human Services, Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard is creating opportunities for our young people, strengthening families, and building a brighter future for the next generation. My mayor.
Our local economy is growing. Small businesses are being supported and revitalized through direct funding opportunities, helping entrepreneurs not just survive, but thrive.
And through critical infrastructure projects, including the reopening of major bridges, our city is being reconnected, bringing communities closer and restoring access across Mount Vernon.
In 2025, that progress accelerated. More investment, more visibility, and more results.
You can see it.
You can feel it.
From where I stand, Mount Vernon is moving forward.
And while we know our work is not done, Mount Vernon is not perfect.
Mount Vernon is not perfect.
Together,
Together we're doing the work to make it better every single day. Juntos somos más.
For 6 years, our mayor has led with purpose, with vision,
And with an unwavering commitment to the people of this city.
this is leadership that delivers.
This is progress you can see.
and this is a city
On the move.
On the move.
On the move.
on the move.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Shawyn Patterson-Howard for her 2026 State of the City Address.
It is truly a blessing to stand before you this night for our 2026 State of the City Address. Thank you to everyone here tonight in the gallery and the chamber, as well as online. We really, really appreciate you joining us so we can talk about the progress that we've made over the past 6 years. I want to take a moment before we really get going to thank my partners in government. To our county executive, our comptroller, our city council, to all of our staff here, to our legislators, to our staff, to our electeds throughout the region, to our partners, our community partners. We just really, really appreciate you. Thank you for showing up every day and helping us to serve the great residents of Mount Vernon. And to all of our partners in business, faith, civic society, non-governmental organizations, and those who are just working with us every day in the struggle. Thank you for your constant readiness to stand with us and serve the community of Mount Vernon. Tonight, you're going to hear about accomplishments, but more importantly, you'll hear about how we're confronting misconceptions, myths, and in sometimes outright disinformation that has defined Mount Vernon, unfortunately, for generations. Tonight, we're going to challenge those narratives and reintroduce to you a new Mount Vernon, one that leads with innovation, resilience, and results. So let's begin. You ready? There we go. So for too long, Mount Vernon has grappled with a north-south divide, rooted in a complex history of segregation, class, and socioeconomic disparity. But today, we're a vibrant tapestry of more than 90 languages, ethnicities, and cultures. And yet, one belief still lingers, and that is that the level of city services depends on which side of the tracks you live on. But let me be clear. Our standard is and always will be equity. A pothole on the south side will be treated with the same urgency as a pothole on the north side of our city. And while I hear residents on both sides say the other is receiving special treatment, that just tells me that we're doing the work across the entire city. What we see happening on our block, we may see what's happening on our block, but our responsibility is to strengthen every neighborhood without exception. And as mayor, I've heard labels like Murderville, born from a different era. These labels have clung to the city of Mount Vernon for far too long, but I'm here to tell you that that chapter has closed. That chapter is closed. Mount Vernon today has moved decisively beyond that reputation. Our return to being the jewel of Westchester is not a slogan. It's a result of 6 years of focused work and partnership. The numbers tell the story. Violent crime is down to historic lows. Roads are being paved. Businesses are opening. Parks are being revitalized. And families across the city have access to real programming. We're not finished, but we're no longer defined by our past. We're defined by our progress. We're moving from a decade of fixing what's broken to a decade of building what's next. And starting with the largest infrastructure investments that this city has seen in a history, take a moment and take a look with me.
Across our city, real investments are transforming how we live, work, and connect.
We've secured millions in funding.
Investments are transforming how we live, work, and connect.
We've secured millions in funding to rebuild and revitalize key spaces like the Dole Center and the Mount Vernon Armory,
ensuring they serve our community for generations to come.
We're tackling long-standing infrastructure challenges,
Cutting sewer backups from weekly disruptions to just a few times a month, improving everyday quality of life.
Through our lead service replacement program, we're removing aging service lines and delivering cleaner, safer drinking water to our residents.
And for the first time in over 30 years,
every MTA bridge in the city of Mount Vernon is fully open, reconnecting our city and restoring access.
But we are not stopping there. We are digitizing how government works. With OpenGov,
residents can apply and file complaints online. With Readily,
you can get answers 24/7, and with Laserfish,
records are now accessible without
stepping a foot in City Hall.
This is more than progress.
It's transformation. Mount Vernon is doing the work,
and the results are here.
The building may be closed, but we are always working.
And to date. But perhaps the most visible symbol of our progress has been our bridges. For years, sometimes 15 years, closed bridges represented frustration, disconnecting neighborhoods and reflecting decades of neglect. But today that story has changed. Those bridges are not just reopened, they've been rebuilt with over $110 million invested in reconnecting our city. And so through partnerships with the MTA and state agencies, we're seeing a significant investment in train stations. And I'm going to announce something today. Mount Vernon West is about to see a $100 million investment in the full renovation of the Mount Vernon West train station plaza, right? Can't say much yet, but we're also discussing a major investment in a transit-oriented mixed-use development project as well at Mount Vernon East. So we're putting the money back in Money Earned in Mount Vernon, one station and one bridge at a time. And I know many of you are thinking about, well, what about the Fulton Avenue overpass? Yeah, we're thinking about that too. So yesterday we met with engineers to select a design, and within the next 3 to 4 months, depending, it happens, we'll move into final design and construction, anticipating that bridge will reopen, that overpass will reopen by fall of 2027. And it's backed by millions in funding from the state New York Bridge program. So thank you to Governor Hochul for your support and your partnership. What once represented disinvestment now represents reconnection. This progress has been made possible through strong partnerships with state leadership, including Senator Jamal Bailey and our Assemblyman Gary Pretlow. I know that they're not able to be here tonight because tomorrow the budget is due, but we really, really want to thank them for securing millions of dollars of resources needed to deliver projects that would otherwise never happen here in the city of Mount Vernon. Again, some of our most important work is underground. For years, sewer backups were a regular reality in many parts of our cities, north side, south side, east side, west side, sometimes multiple times a week. But today, through sustained investment in inspection, cleaning, rehabilitation, and replacement, those incidents have reduced by 95%. 95%. That's an accomplishment. And so since 2021, the city has inspected more than 2,600 manholes, evaluated thousands of catch basins, and since 2023, we've cleaned over 400,000 linear feet of sewer lines. That's more than half of the entire system. I know it doesn't sound sexy until your sewer backs up into your house and wipes out thousands of dollars of investment. We've also repaired more than 270 failing sewer segments and completed targeted replacements to address structural failures. And at the same time, $14 million in upgrades to the 3rd Street and Edison Avenue pump stations are strengthening system reliability, reducing flooding risks, and improving our ability to manage severe weather. This work is part of a broader partnership with state environmental agencies, allowing us to advance critical efforts like lead service line replacement, protecting public health while modernizing aging infrastructure. And just as important as what we are building is how we're managing it. Public Works is investing in new technology every day. We're tracking service requests, improving response times, and coordinating work across departments. We're building data systems that allow us to monitor conditions, identify patterns, and prioritize repairs more effectively. And at the same time, we're strengthening internal operations, improving reporting, updating procedures, and creating a coordinated pipeline for future capital projects. Because this is no longer about reacting to problems one at a time. It's about building a system that works. Because rebuilding a city is not just about fixing what's broken, it's about building what works for the future of our city. Development in our city is not just about cranes in the skyline or new buildings rising. Behind every new home, every renovated storefront, and every housing project is a system that determines whether the projects will move forward or whether they will stall. And so over the past few years, Mount Vernon has transformed that system, turning the building department into a modern, data-driven agency focused on efficiency, transparency, and accountability. And in 2025, the department introduced performance standards to track efficiency, improve service, and ensure accountability. And let's be clear, the results are amazing. Last year alone, nearly 2,000 permits were issued for construction renovations and repairs across the city. And the department generated over $4.3 million in revenue. At the same time, the department tackled more than 800 backlogged applications, clearing hundreds of pending permits from prior years and beginning to restore confidence in the process. That progress is also happening in the field. Inspectors completed thousands of building and safety inspections, and through new third-party inspection partnerships, we're accelerating timelines while maintaining strict safety standards. Today, we're meeting benchmarks this city has not reached in over 30 years. I know it doesn't always sound like progress, but we are redoing 30 years of work. And while good news doesn't always travel as fast as bad news, make no mistake, things are turning around. And so as projects reach completion, the department is moving them to final approval, tripling the number of certificates of occupancy issued, allowing homes and businesses to open safely and legally. This is unprecedented because historically less than 35% of the businesses throughout the city had a proper certificate of occupancy. And without a certificate of occupancy, you're not supposed to be open. So 35%, that's changing. That's changing. But the real story here is how the system itself has changed. Mount Vernon is invested in modernizing the building department through technology, staffing, training, and process improvements. And today, permit applications are submitted online, allowing homeowners, contractors, and developers to upload plans, and track progress in real time. Permits that took 90 days are now reviewed and issued on average in just 5 to 7 days. You won't know it until you try it, okay? So the key is providing proper documentation and following OpenGov. We've expanded the use of specialized plan reviewers and inspection partners to keep projects moving without compromising safety or code compliance. And at the same time, decades of building records are being digitized, making it easier for residents and professionals to access information without stepping into City Hall. We're also making government more accessible. So I have a new friend, and his name is Lucky. Lucky is our 24-hour online AI assistant, and he helps residents navigate permits, zoning inspections in multiple languages, and this reduces confusion and it improves access for our diverse community. But modernization is not just about technology. It's really about culture. And the department has updated its standard operating procedures, strengthened staff training again, adopted a data-driven approach to management, and that work is being supported also by our Bloomberg Harvard fellow, Janira Borges. So we want to thank Bloomberg and Harvard for that free work. Customer feedback is now used to identify delays, improve workflows, and deliver better service. And these changes are supporting real development across the city. Residential projects, mixed-use developments, commercial renovations, and adaptive reuse projects are all moving forward. We're also advancing an expedited review process for major economic development projects because this will ensure that investments that are bringing jobs, housing, and new business, and of course tax revenue, can move efficiently while meeting the highest standards. Because when government systems work, the entire city moves forward. Projects move faster, right, Monty? Businesses are open sooner, housing gets built, and stakeholders gain confidence that the city is working for them. And this is the new reality in Mount Vernon. Permits are issued faster. What took months has now dropped just to a few days. This is transformation. And so now we're going to take a moment to talk about public health and safety and how we're rebuilding a healthier and safer Mount Vernon. Take a look at our video.
There are moments in every city that define how safe, supported, and prepared a community truly is.
And it begins with fundamental access to care. In Mount Vernon, we've been clear. Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital is not closed. It remains open, operational, and is being strengthened through investments that are expanding services, enhancing emergency care for our residents. Because public health is public safety. It's the ability to respond in a crisis, to stabilize a life, to ensure that when families need help most, care is right here at home.
But safety doesn't stop at the hospital doors.
It extends into our neighborhoods.
And the data shows real progress.
Mount Vernon went more than 365 days without a gun-related homicide.
Gun-related incidents remain extremely low, impacting just 0.11% of our population.
Burglary is down over 21%, and larceny has dropped nearly 18%.
And calls for service have declined by thousands, reflecting both improved conditions and smarter policing.
This is the work of the Mount Vernon Police Department, in partnership with a community committed to prevention,
accountability, and progress.
Because just like healthcare, public safety must be grounded in truth,
not perception.
And tonight, we take a closer look
at where we are, how far we've come,
and how we continue moving Mount Vernon forward.
All of those who helped put these videos together. So, we're going to confront another misconception that we've heard for years, that Mount Vernon Hospital is closing. The truth is that hasn't been the case for over 5 years. Yet the rumor continues to circulate. So tonight, let's be clear about where we are and where we're going. Mount Vernon Hospital is open, it is operational, and it is actively serving this community. And under the leadership of Montefiore Health System, it's undergoing significant upgrades to strengthen services, expand emergency care, and secure its long-term future. Because hospitals are more than buildings. They're where families turn in their time of need and their vulnerability. Where emergencies are treated, where lives are stabilized, and communities find reassurance that care is close to home. And that's why these investments matter. One of the first major milestones is already completed, and that's the modernization of the Family Health and Wellness Center. This upgraded facility now delivers expanded primary and specialty care with modern exam rooms and advanced technology, bringing quality care closer to home. And that matters because strong primary care prevents emergencies before they happen. And at the same time, work is moving forward on the most critical upgrade, the emergency department. Today, the hospital treats roughly 20,000 emergency patients each year, but with this expansion, that capacity will double to 40,000, and we're excited about that. The plan also includes improvements to operating rooms and surgical infrastructure, allowing more procedures to happen right here in Mount Vernon. We don't have to always go elsewhere. We can get our services here, their quality. Taken together, this is not just renovation, it's stability, because we saw that the pandemic really reshaped healthcare. And through partnerships with state and local government leaders, Montefiore is positioning Mount Vernon Hospital as a modern, community-centered facility focused on emergency care, outpatient services, and essential support for residents. So let's be clear again. The hospital, it's not closing. It's evolving. It's evolving, and it's investing in its future and our future. And it's about ensuring that every family in Mount Vernon knows that when they need care, help is right here at home. Mount Vernon Hospital has served us, and with these new investments, expanded capacity, modernized facilities, it'll continue to serve us for generations to come. So now let's talk about what we do when emergencies happen, because they happen. On January 1st, 2025, Mount Vernon launched the first of its kind hybrid fire EMS program in the state of New York. Let me say that again, in the state of New York. We're innovating. It's transformed how we deliver emergency response for a city of nearly 75,000 residents and close to 100,000 when we swell during the day because of the workforce. This model integrates 911 responses with community paramedicine and mobile integrated healthcare, reducing unnecessary calls, improving response times, and decreasing reliance on mutual aid. And as a result, the results are very clear. In just 1 year, our EMS response time dropped from 10.5 minutes to 6.5 minutes for advanced medical calls. That's a 38% reduction. And for basic medical calls, response times dropped from 13.5 minutes to 7.5 minutes. That's a 44% reduction. And when your family's life is on the line and you're calling 911, you want to make sure that help shows up. And in 2026, we're expanding this model even further. And through new partnerships with local providers like the Westchester Community Health Center and other wellness partners, we're expanding our health ecosystem. The health center underwent a $12 million renovation, and we're excited about the services that they're bringing to the city of Mount Vernon as well. They've been a great partner. Because when it comes to safety, response time is critical, coordination is essential, and innovation will take us to the next level. And trust me, the county and the state are looking at how Mount Vernon is turning our EMS system around. With that being said, we're going to also talk about how we're rewriting the narratives on public safety. We know that in cities across America, conversations about public safety are driven by perception and press. A headline, a viral post, a blogger, or a single tragic accident can quickly shape how a community is viewed. But leadership requires more than just reacting to perception and press. Leadership requires transparency, data, and accountability. And so tonight I want to ground this conversation in what? The facts. Residents, please understand that we're making progress, where work remains, and how we continue to build a safer Mount Vernon. Earlier, I spoke about misconceptions that have defined the city for years, including the label Murderville. So let me share one of the most important milestones we can report. Mount Vernon went over 365 days, a full year without a gun or knife-related homicide, right? So, from October 2024 to November 2025, and for any city that is significant. And for our families, it means lives were saved and tragedies were prevented. We also saw a reduction in gun-related incidents, down to just 82 cases for the year. And that doesn't mean just shootings, that even means someone pulling a weapon. Put that in perspective, in a city of approximately 75,000 people, that means that 99.88% of people were not impacted by gun violence directly. That's a far cry from the narratives of constant violence, unsolved homicides, and chaos that we hear about every day in our streets. This progress reflects the work of our dedicated police department, our dedicated police department. Yes. It also reflects the partnership of our community organizations and our residents who are choosing partnership over fear. And when we look at the broader trends, the data tells the same story. Aggravated assault is down nearly 14%. Burglary is down nearly 21%. Violent crime overall down 8%. And that's from year over year, because each year it's been going down. May not seem big, but when it goes down year over year, it's hard for it to go down big digits unless there's none. And total crime, including low-level offenses, is down 27%. Let's see them report that on the news. But even though crime is down throughout the city, I've heard people talk about my airbags were stolen. Guess what? I'm not exempt. They broke into my car and took my airbags in front of my house as well. So Mount Vernon, just like you live here, I live here. I don't live somewhere else, and I deal with what you deal with. But the reality is this: our police department is becoming more proactive. Total arrests increased from over 1,200 to 1,500, demonstrating stronger enforcement and follow-through. And at the same time, calls for service dropped from 41,000 calls to just over 35,000. That's a double-digit decrease. And it's also a sign of both improved conditions and smarter policing strategies. But public safety is not built through enforcement alone. It's built through presence, through prevention, and through community. And that's why in the summer of 2023, we launched the Summer of Safety. And since the summer of 2023, Mount Vernon has experienced 0 homicides throughout the summer seasons. That deserves a round of applause. We've been asked to present that model around the country, because that didn't happen by chance. It happened because we activated our city. We filled our parks and our public spaces with life, with families, with young people, and with opportunity. Through outdoor movie nights, youth and recreation events, community partnerships with organizations like SNUG, the Youth Shelter of Westchester, Truce, our wonderful auxiliary police, our Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, YCOP, the Boys and Girls Club, and so many others, we activated parks and we activated neighborhoods across the city. Because when spaces are active, crime is disruptive. Connections are strengthened and communities become safer. And that is prevention in action. Also in 2025, we launched the Aware Room, which serves as a central hub for real-time crime intelligence and response. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Gleason. She traveled to New York City with our police department to make sure that this was going to be great for the city of Mount Vernon. And so using community and business-owned cameras, license plate readers, officers can now view live footage and review recorded video to locate missing children, vulnerable individuals, track suspects who are fleeing from vehicle-related crimes, and dealing with stolen cars and just people who are trying to flee our city after they commit a crime. Every division in every department uses the Aware Room to strengthen their investigations and their response times. These cameras act as a force multiplier, giving officers the ability to assess a scene before they arrive and deploy the appropriate responses with precision. And we're now preparing to expand these capabilities through the deployment of a first responder drone program. This will further enhance our situational awareness for officers and fire safety and public safety across the city. So as we move forward, let's be clear. The progress didn't happen by chance. It happened because of the dedication of our officers, our communities, our leaders, our youth organization, and residents like you who believe in this city. We are moving forward. And together we'll continue to build a city where every resident feels safe, supported, and proud to call Mount Vernon home. So now let's talk about a moment in 2025 that changed the lives of so many people in our city, right? At 2:39 in the morning, while most of our city was asleep, a single knock on the door became the beginning of a story that would touch hundreds of lives. In one apartment, a grandmother woke to the smell of smoke and wrapped her toddler granddaughter in a blanket before stepping in the hallway. And in another apartment, a young couple grabbed passports and medication, trying to understand what was happening. The smoke moved quickly, and the confusion moved even faster. And within minutes, what became clear is that this was not a small incident. It would become a 5-alarm fire displacing more than 100 families. Families who had lived there for decades, seniors, children, immigrant families who had built their lives right here in Mount Vernon. And in a matter of moments, everything had changed. But what happened next defines this city. As the flames spread, the men of the Mount Vernon Fire Department, along with mutual aid partners, ran toward danger with one priority, and that was saving lives. And at the same time, my office activated our city's crisis response network, led by our Office of Emergency Management Director, Mike Montez. Our mission was clear, that the moment that families stepped away from that building, that they would not be stepping into uncertainty alone. And within hours, we delivered. With the full coordination of city departments, the Mount Vernon School District, the Red Cross, and countless community partners, we secured shelter, food, clothing, emergency financial assistance, and showers. Health partners replaced medications. Schools ensured that all kids could stay in class. Computers came. Community organizations, faith leaders, volunteers stepped forward without hesitation. No one asked any questions. Hundreds gave money, gift cards, clothing, food, time, care, counseling, prayer, and love. And what could have been chaos became coordination. Firefighters were saving lives. Police officers were protecting families. City staff mobilizing resources. Community partners showing up without hesitation. Businesses, faith institutions, neighborhood organizations, fraternities, sororities, everyone answered the call in this region. And this is what government should look like when people need it most. Because responding to a fire is not just putting out the flames, it's about protecting dignity. It's about restoring stability and reminding people that even in their darkest moment, that the city stands with them. And that night we saw the very best of Mount Vernon. I'm gonna tell you, that night and for the next 6 weeks, as we did the unprecedented work of operating a full-time 24-hour shelter as a city joined by the county, we did something that is never done. We didn't turn away. We didn't back down. The Red Cross usually stays for 3 days. They stayed for 12. And we stayed for another 5 weeks afterwards. We didn't turn away. We stood together. We stood together, and we carried our neighbors forward. And so to everyone who answered the call, thank you. To everyone who donated, who volunteered, who served food, who encouraged our children, who got computers, thank you. Thank you, thank you. The families are moving into new housing. Not everyone has found what they want yet, but we are still supporting them with the help of the Red Cross and so many community partners throughout the region. They're not forgotten, they are rebuilding, and they are stabilizing. So again, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So with that same type of energy, because we know how to go, We bring that energy to our veterans as we serve them. Last year, we served over 380 veterans in our city, securing an estimated $9.5 million in benefits for them. That's big. From helping file disability compensation claims, survivor benefits, referring for mental health, substance abuse, housing claims, and community education programming, our veterans have been served very well over the past year. This administration also provided many grants to our VFW posts for small renovations and purchases of equipment. This ensures that where they socialize, receive services, and serve the community is done with dignity. In 2026, we look forward to supporting the completion of the long-awaited Veterans Park. Hopefully he'll be happy about that. The work of our Veterans Service Agency reflects that commitment not only to benefits assistance, but to stewardship of the service and sacrifice represented within our community. A community that works for and protects its veterans is a community that prides itself on preserving the dignity, legacy, and recognition. And that same commitment to dignity, to stability, and to making sure people are not just supported in moments of crisis positions us for long-term success in how we approach financial security in our city. We know that across the country right now, the whole conversation is about affordability and how families are going to make it, and how people are navigating rising costs, economic uncertainty, and financial pressure. And Mount Vernon is responding with something very powerful: simple and free access. Through our Financial Empowerment Center, we're providing residents with direct one-on-one financial counseling completely free of charge. I'm going to say that again, completely free of charge. This is not a service rooted in crisis. It's a service rooted in improving stability and economic mobility for everyone, because financial empowerment is not about where you've been, it's about where you're going. Every day, this center is helping our residents take control of their financial future. From building and managing household budgets, to increasing savings, to paying down debt and improving credit, we're giving people the tools that are necessary to make informed decisions, not just for today, but for the long term. So let me be clear again, this is a resource that every resident should be empowered to use. There's no stigma in planning, and there is no shame in preparing for your future, because this is not about bankruptcy or bad credit or struggling. This is about building a steady, secure financial future for you and your family. And when our residents are financially secure, our city becomes more stable, more resilient, and more prepared to take advantages of opportunities versus being taken advantage of. And this is what empowerment looks like. And that is the Mount Vernon, and that's how Mount Vernon's investing not just in programs, but investing in our most important assets, our residents and our stakeholders, and especially our youth. And so when we talk about building a future that lasts, there's no greater investment that we can make than in our young people. And so take a moment with me to look at this video.
The strength of a city is measured by how we invest in our people.
And in Mount Vernon, that investment is creating real momentum.
This year, we service 1,100 young people across 12 programs and 8 academies, opening up doors to opportunities and preparing our young youth for the next generation, for the future. Through the Youth Bureau, 414 young people gain hands-on working experience, and might I add, money in their pocket, $2,040 to be exact, building skills, confidence, and pathway towards their future. Because of young people and the support this community have provided them, this community is growing stronger.
That same commitment to progress extends across our city through recreation.
This year, more than 20,000 residents participated in over 400 programs and events.
From youth sports and cultural programming to community-wide activations that bring neighborhoods together.
These spaces are more than places to gather. They are where connection happens.
Where mentorship is built and where community is strengthened.
And for our seniors, expanded services delivered more than 10,000 meals along wellness programs that keep residents active, engaged, and supported. Because a thriving city is one where every generation is valued. This is what progress looks like in Mount Vernon. Investing in people, strengthening the community, and building a future filled with opportunity.
Because of a thriving city is one where every generation is valued.
This is what progress looks like.
This is what progress looks like.
This is what progress looks like in the jewel of Westchester.
In Mount Vernon, money-earning Mount Vernon, investing in people,
Strengthening community,
and building a
future
filled with opportunity.
So remember, we said we were going to talk about some misconceptions tonight. And one of the biggest misconceptions is, there's nothing for the kids in Mount Vernon to do. Give me a break. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because if you want to understand the future of a city, you start with its young people. Last summer, I met a young man who had just completed our youth program of summer employment. And it was the first time he had ever received a paycheck with his name on it. And he told me something simple and powerful. He said, Mayor, this is the first time I feel like I'm working something. And that moment captures the work that our Youth Bureau is doing every day. And I'm sitting here now and I'm looking at Miss Jada. And Jada came in during COVID as an intern in the mayor's office, attending Howard University. And in May, she will be graduating with her law degree. Right? This is what investing in our young people look like. This year alone, the Youth Bureau served more than 1,100 young people ages 6 to 24 through 8 career academies, including aviation, we were the first to do it, let's be clear, drones, drones, hospitality, clean energy, entrepreneurship, culinary arts, and healthcare. Programs that are building real pathways to opportunity. Because work is not just about youth development, it's about public safety. Public safety can never begin with sirens. Public safety must begin with opportunity. And through our youth employment and training program, more than 400 young people gained real work experience, training, professionalism, understanding responsibility, learning about financial independence. And so programs like Step Up, Gym, Safe Haven are providing safe, structured spaces, not just after school, but throughout the summer, which means fewer young people are on the streets and more young people are building futures. And we're expanding what opportunities look like. Imagine a middle school student building a solar-powered go-kart, or stepping into an aviation program and realizing that a career in aerospace is possible. That's not just education, that's possibility. And the outcomes speak for themselves. 34 of our young people who graduated from youth programs last year in the Youth Bureau went on to college. And we've also been supporting our young people earning certifications in culinary arts, safety, HVAC, OSHA, and healthcare fields. We provided scholarships through fundraising. Thank you for those who come to the gala. We're having another. And so we provided scholarships for vocational training in auto repair, X-ray technology, and media production. Hundreds of young people also receive substance abuse education, training in healthy decision-making, and training which are equipping them for making safer choices for themselves and their community. And though programs like the Youth Empowerment Advisory Council, our young people are not just learning how government works, they're learning how to lead within it. Because the goal is not just to prepare young people for jobs, it's about preparing them for leadership. And we're doing this responsibly. Because when we invest in our young people, we prevent problems before they begin. A summer job can change the trajectory of their life. A mentor can redirect their future. A career academy can open doors that they never knew existed. This is what prevention looks like. This is what community safety looks like. And this is how Mount Vernon is building a future where every young person has a pathway towards purpose. Because when we invest in our youth, regardless of their neighborhood or their zip code, we're not just funding programs, we're shaping the future of this city. Every opportunity sends a message that Mount Vernon believes in you. And when our young people succeed, our city becomes stronger, safer, and more hopeful. Because life is not just about second chances, it's about first opportunities delivered on time. Right? Thank you. So, if you want to understand the heartbeat of a city, go to its parks. Go to the basketball courts on a summer evening. Go to a senior line dancing on a weekday morning at the Doles, if you can keep up with them, because they are moving. Go to the Dole Center where boxing is taught and meals are prepared. Go to a field where young athletes are learning discipline, teamwork, and pride. That's where you see the real life of community. And last year, recreation programs reached more than 20,000 residents through over 400 activities, from youth sports and camps to senior wellness and cultural events. Every week, hundreds of young people are participating in after-school and summer programs, playing sports, exploring arts, learning STEM, and building relationships that strengthen our community. Programs like boxing, fencing, track and field, tennis, basketball clinics, they're more than recreation, they are recreation. It's how we bring our community together. And last year, Mount Vernon hosted major events, from cultural festivals and holiday celebrations to summer concerts and outdoor celebrations, movie nights bringing thousands of residents into shared public spaces. Events like City Fest transformed our streets and parks into gathering places where neighbors connected, families came together, and trust is built. Because community is about a common unity. Communities that gather are communities that grow stronger and safer. Recreation is also about improving quality of life for those who have helped build this city. That's our families and our seniors. And the Recreation Department continues to do amazing work. They are the largest food distribution provider in the city of Mount Vernon. And under the steady hand of our nutrition director, Sade Ritter, and our home meals director, Carla Pessin, we've partnered with Feeding Westchester, the County of Westchester, and several retail providers to provide more than 2 million pounds of fresh produce and non-perishable items with a retail value of over $4.4 million. And through the Office of the Aging, we've expanded programming to more than 100 engagement activities for our seniors. And we've provided over 185 meals served through nutrition and wellness and recovery. Seniors are participating in health screenings with the hospital, the health center, and our health partners. They're attending social events and cultural programming, staying active, connected, and engaged, because dignity in aging is not just about services. Again, it's about community, it's about connection, and it's about making sure our seniors are not isolated, but they're celebrated. And so if you want to learn a line dance, if you want to learn how to quilt, if you want to learn how to become more proficient in computers, or if you want to get beat, and I mean beat, at dominoes, cards, bingos, go hang out with our seniors. Don't bring too much money. They're not gambling, they're not gambling. The Recreation Department is also, at the same time, we're investing in spaces that bring our community together. And this year, the city secured, in partnership with, again, our Governor Hochul and our state representatives, Assemblyman Gary Pretlow and Senator Jamal Bailey, $3 million for the Dole Center renovation. We're being awarded another $4.4 million for Brush Park. $8 million for the Armory. And additional investments of about $1 million will help us with Madison Avenue, Eddie Williams Park, you might know that as Cool Out Park, and more. And this coming year, residents will begin to see the transformation takes place as we work with our friends at New City Parks. Memorial Field is the jewel of Mount Vernon. And we've seen more than 25,000 visitors came together this year for events. They've come for tournaments, community celebrations, concerts. It's all about being a hub of civic pride, because all of the youth programming, senior services, sports, cultural events, they add up to something greater than recreation. Again, it's about belonging and connection. And it creates a city where people feel proud of where they live. And when we invest in recreation, we're investing in safety and the health of our community. We invest in places where people belong. And I want to thank our partners, because we're not doing this by ourselves. Mount Vernon United, Little League Baseball, Revelators, X Factor, Ice Cold, Mount Vernon Youth Cheerleading, the Mount Vernon Adult Resource Center, and so many other programs and agencies are helping us to build out a full ecosystem of support and recreation here in Mount Vernon. And so we talked about the fun and exciting things for our people. So let's talk about the things that we're doing for sustaining our future, and that's about economic development. We're almost finished, y'all.
Mount Vernon is building momentum.
As you can see it from national brands choosing to invest here,
To local businesses opening their doors across the city.
We're seeing it with Floor & Decor and the transformation of spaces like the former Stop & Shop, now making way for new opportunity.
From destinations like Fun City,
Delicious eateries like Corey's Eats on Gramerton,
and home-free small businesses bring energy, culture, and life back to our neighborhoods.
because real growth is about balance. Supporting small businesses while attracting major investment. At the same time, we're building for the future.
From small residential projects to larger developments, we are creating diverse housing opportunities, including co-ops that expand pathways to ownership for our residents. With milestones like Vernon Commons Homes and new development coming McQuestion Parkway, Mount Vernon is growing with intention, and we are doing it smarter.
Through expedited review processes, we're increasing efficiency.
making it faster and easier to build, invest, and move projects forward.
This is more than growth. It's a strategy.
A strategy that strengthens our economy, supports our residents, and positions Mount Vernon for long-term success. Mount Vernon is doing the work, and the results are here.
Forward, look at what happens after something closes. Because every city faces setbacks. Storefronts, they go dark. Housing ages, and people begin to ask, what's next? And what matters most is whether a city accepts failure or responds with vision. We in Mount Vernon choose vision. Last year, our planning department and community development continued to modernize how we build. We completed our first comprehensive plan in more than 55 years. And we created clearer, faster pathways for projects to move forward. And hopefully with the adoption of the governor's Let Them Build legislation, we'll move even faster, but safer at the same time. We're taking spaces that once represented loss and we're turning them into signs of momentum. When Stop & Shop closed on East Sanford Boulevard, many saw another empty building, but we saw opportunity. And today that site is being repositioned to open in April as Floor & Decor, bringing jobs, investment, and new energy to that corridor. And the same is true for the former Bed Bath & Beyond. What could have remained a symbol of decline is becoming Fun City Adventure Park. This is a regional destination that will bring families into Mount Vernon, and it will open before summer of 2026. So that's our strategy. We're not waiting for change, we're driving it. We're repositioning closed sites, reactivating commercial corridors, and proving that Mount Vernon can attract serious, recognizable investment. And this is what a pivot looks like. From shuttered retail to renewed economic activity, from empty spaces to foot traffic, from uncertainty to visible investment. But our story is not just about attracting national brands, it's about neighborhood energy. Because a strong economy needs both the anchor that draws people in and local businesses that gives the corridor its identity and flavor. And that's why businesses like Home Frites, Corey Eats, Tossed and Pressed, El Patio, soon coming Chalana's, Ashley Sweet Treats, they matter. As well as many other businesses. They create jobs, they activate storefronts, and they reflect the entrepreneurial spirit of this city. They may not always make big headlines, but they are the backbone of our neighborhoods. And we're intentional about balance. Big brands bring stability, traffic, and market confidence, but small businesses bring culture, connection, and local ownership. And together, they create a stronger, more resilient economy. That same balance is also shaping our housing strategy. Because economic development is not just about where people shop, it's about where people live, and whether they can stay, and whether they can build a future here. And that's our goal. Across Mount Vernon, we're seeing steady progress in residential development. Small projects like townhouses, developments such as the Vernon Commons, new single and multiple family homes, and workforce housing that expands options for families and neighborhoods. And at the same time, we are prioritizing ownership. We're pledging funding to support home ownership, and we'll work towards a first-time home buyers program that will support projects here in the city, like 20 Southwest. Because growth without ownership is not enough. Again, growth without ownership is not enough. We're tired of just being tenants. We want to be owners. Economic development is about confidence. Confidence that a closed store will not stay closed. Confidence that a local entrepreneur can still take a chance. Confidence that families can find a place and a future in this city. And Mount Vernon is proving that we're turning vacancies into opportunity, bringing in national investment, supporting small businesses, and creating housing pathways that allow residents to stay and grow. And this is what economic momentum looks like, and Mount Vernon is building it. And so tonight, the question is not where we've been. The question is not who we've been defined as. The question is, where are we going next? And more importantly, who defines Mount Vernon? We define Mount Vernon. We define Mount Vernon. We define Mount Vernon. Because Mount Vernon is no longer a city. We're a city preparing to lead. We're a city that's leading in public safety, economic development, and community engagement. We're a city defined by our people, our history, and our many cultures. We're moving from fixing what was broken to building what's next. And we're building a city where people don't just live, but they gather, shop, play, dine, pray, invest, and experience culture. We're a city with a growing food scene and expanding entertainment footprint, and housing that creates not just stability, but ownership, opportunity, and generational wealth. We are reclaiming what we already have. From the Armory to Hutchinson Field, we're identifying underutilized properties across the city, and we're transforming them into engines of community and economic activity, because every space we activate creates energy. It creates opportunity, and it generates revenue. We're investing in places that bring us together. So from Brush Park to 4th Street, which is another $2.7 million investment, to parks across this city, we're also restoring tree canopies. We're building spaces that reflect pride, connection, and community, and preparing for climate change, because as we've seen in these past few months, it's cold, it's hot, climate matters. Because a strong city is not just built with infrastructure, it's built with people in motion. And understand where this leads. Every business we attract, every project that we move forward, every property we activate builds a stronger tax base. And so we're not raising taxes to survive. We're growing revenue to thrive. I'll say that again. We're not focusing on raising taxes to survive. We're looking to grow revenues to thrive. And we're building the team that can do it right. For far too long, the story of Mount Vernon was written by those who only saw our struggles. They saw our crumbling infrastructure, the shadow of crime, fiscal strain, and a city, honestly, that's been divided by a railroad track and a circle. But they only saw the surface. They never saw our soul. They never saw the resilience of our people. They never saw our faith, the spirit that defines this city. And that's why we stand here today at this turning point. We will not be distracted by the noise of the past. We will not be divided by those who seek and speak about stalling progress. We will not be diminished by low expectations, and we will not be deterred by those who have given up on our potential. Our value as a city and as a people will not be discounted, and our destiny as a thriving jewel of Westchester will not be denied. We are building a Mount Vernon that does more than survive. We're building a Mount Vernon that thrives. We're driving investment in housing and business. We're strengthening our infrastructure. We're investing in sustainability, securing our safety, and we're setting a new direction, a bold direction, a direction that delivers for every resident, every business, every child, and every senior, because our future is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. And tonight we choose greatness. Tonight, Mount Vernon, we choose greatness. And so let me leave you with this. Mount Vernon's not waiting for opportunity, we're creating it. And we're not defined by the past, we're building our future. The foundation is set. The momentum is real, and the best of Mount Vernon is still ahead. So I call on each of you tonight in this chamber, as well as those online, to step up with courage, to step out with vision, and to step into the future of Mount Vernon, because we have to put the darkness behind us, because the dawn is here. Mount Vernon is rising, we are moving forward, and how are we moving forward? We're moving forward together. So thank you, God bless you, and God bless the city of Mount Vernon. Thank you. Thank you.